Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe. We're trying to hit 50,000 subscribers, and let's go guys. So today we kind of have a different video here, just testing it out, the F-14B again, the third video testing it out again. But it is the most requested vehicle, you know, in basically on the whole community, that it's not, the part of the community that it's not like striking and you know. But basically we wanted to check how BVR is with this aircraft, if it's any better, if you can feel any difference between the A and the B. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to actually see that. Yes, it is better, but overall it's kind of the same. Here on the first tests that we are doing, we're just firing the AIM-54C right here with just normal cranking against me, so against my missile, right? So he's not like notching or doing anything crazy, just normal cranking. The first turn the missile would hit, the second turn the missile would hit again, but then the third one it was too much. So it's not like it's a lot different than anything else in the game, to be honest, because most missiles will miss in this type of situation. And you will see right here another example that, I mean, the missile was straight into the target in a close range, kind of, but we completely miss it. So, yeah, don't expect this missile to be any, like, at least for now, we don't know if in the live server you will be changed, but don't expect it to be something revolutionary, okay? It is basically the same Phoenix that we have. It has some minor things. It feels like the autopilot is a little bit better, and I don't know, it just has more chance of actually going into the right direction, but it's more of a feeling than anything else. So it's nothing material, so you cannot actually like know if it's something very different on the code or not. There are some files in the codes apparently that are different from the A, but it's nothing too big. Here we can see that on the last minute there, last moment he basically tried to just crank. He didn't even do like a crazy maneuver, and the missile just missed. And it wasn't from very far away. So don't expect this missile, and of course I wasn't expecting it. It's just to kind of like reiterate the subject that the Phoenix is not a dogfight missile, man. It's not a missile made for this. It's made for getting people that are not paying attention to you, honestly. It is great at that. If the target doesn't know that the missile is there, it's going to hit, because it does have the energy to hit any target, even targets that are trying to fly away from you. But the thing is that you don't expect this missile to turn. But that was pretty much it, right? It was the same kind of line of thinking that we had with the A variant. So there isn't anything crazy with this, right? Here we tried something a little bit different, with basically some like missile launches and stuff against me. So in the first two he wasn't actually shooting at me. Now he was with the R-27ERs, and as you see, the radar on the F-14B is bugged. You just lose lock on the TWS if you kind of move like to the sides. So it's kind of weird. You cannot notch it, or you cannot crank while maintaining a properly good TWS soft lock, right? So it kind of becomes a problem. So I don't know if it's a problem with the B, or is it that they are changing the AUG9 entirely, right? I know that they changed the timings on the scan zones of this radar, but nothing too crazy, like not being able to crank while you maintain a soft lock with TWS, right? So yeah, I'm just wasting missiles here, in the sense that I'm just like, I would never do this in a real battle, right? I would not just spam missiles, but just to make sure we have a lot of samples of different ranges. So yeah, from longer ranges, I'm just not able to actually get the hits, right? And then he eventually shot an R-27ER, like just before I shot that one, I think, and the missile eventually hit the ground, so he kind of missed a little bit. And then I shot a AIM-7M, which at this closer range of close to 15-16 kilometers, I mean, if he's not flying completely like near the ground or doing very heavily notch or something like that, the missile will hit. So not at his fault there, the DR just didn't like do anything. And you will see the ER working better right here in this match. There is another factor to it that a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people do, but I will say it again. If you fly low, man, you can get away with avoiding any radar missile. So it's something that, you know, you would see. So some of these options, some of these like the tests that we did, we just try to not fly as low to the ground as possible, just due to that fact. I mean, it's obvious that if you fly low, you're going to not die. That's just how it is, right? But I try to just maintain a fair kind of deal here to see what the missile can actually do in higher altitudes, right? And I don't know if you saw that, but the ER was notching, lofting hard, man. It is lofting almost, I think it's almost better than the AIM-54. I don't know exactly, I have to check the files, but yeah, you can see that with simple notching, cranking, you can avoid the AIM-54s, and that was expected, but it is good to actually show to you guys that it doesn't change much. Here, I would just go to the ground because I know that a missile is coming to me, so if it was a real battle, I would just go to really near the ground and I would be safe, but I try to maintain, I have like a kind of a high altitude here, just to see if the ER could actually get me. And he was trying to do the same here, basically, right? So I think he eventually got a little bit lowered, but as you see, there's basically nothing I can do beyond like really notching at those speeds, and with the wings swept back, there's basically nothing you can do. You know, we could just fly low, as I said, but we weren't trying to do that just for the sake of actually testing the missile, because obviously if you fly low, the missile will miss, right? So yeah, I don't know, it doesn't feel any different. I mean, the one thing that I must say that it feels different is the position that your aircraft is in, and that actually might help you on the long run. If you noticed, this type of gameplay that we are doing, we were trying to just take off like in a normal battle and fire the missiles from a safe position that you normally would fire. I fired one AIM-54 here and one AIM-7 just to make sure I have both types of launches, just to see if anything hits at this distance. But the thing is, look at the ER, just very, very good. But the thing is that with the extra power that you have, you will climb more and be faster. So you will be able to fire your missiles at a better, you know, envelope than before. The Sparrow is still limited to the 40 something kilometers of range. So the AIM-54C will be the counter, quote unquote, to the R-27ER for now. It's the only missile that can actually match the capabilities of the ER. It gets you really quickly, you know, both of the missiles are very, very fast. And they just like are very, very quick to each other, you know, they're very similar to each other. And I don't know if you noticed there, I hit the guy, but the thing is that I made him actually lose the lock, which was a very interesting thing, you know. And it was just like the R-27 would hit me like right before the Sparrow would hit him. So that was kind of unfortunate to him, but yeah, it was really, really interesting to see that. You see kind of like this happening, this little clip that we are doing right here, that I will try to fire as far away as possible, kind of in a normal situation. I wouldn't fire so long. We are trying to maintain 10,000 meters and Mach 1.5. So to have kind of less variations of what the missiles could do. But the objective was to fire at about 80 kilometers, the Phoenix, which is a pretty good range to try to outrange the ER. And then he would shoot at its max range of basically 60 something kilometers, right, with the ER. And then he shot, you see the missile lofting there, and we just would continue to accelerate towards each other, like in a complete blind way that we normally would never do, but just to see one missile would actually hit first, right? One missile can actually have in these optimal conditions the best kind of situation here. If it would be the Phoenix being fired from further away, or the ER being fired from up close, so yeah, they are very, very similar to each other. So as you see, the ER hitting me, and then the MiG-29 was destroyed. So it is kind of different, but it's very, very similar. Even shooting at different distances, it is very, very similar. And here we try to do kind of a situation of AIM-7 against R-27ER to see how it performs, if it's any different or anything like that. So anything is possible here. The rules are just that you cannot properly notch, and you cannot properly just disengage, go cold or something like that. Then it's, or even flying low in general, right? Because you would mean that the missile would just, of course, you would miss, right? So it's a matter of just having some rules to actually avoid any type of, differences or variations of possibilities that can happen here, and try to be as scientific as possible, right? But you will see that none of us actually hit us, and then basically it's done and done, right? So it's problematic. I think if you are expecting something like really, really different between the F-14A and the B in the sense of BVR, you are kind of wrong. You cannot expect anything like that. The missiles are, basically the same. The only missile that really is different from the original one, from the A, is the A9L, because the AIM-7F and the M are basically the same missile right now, and the AIM-54C and the A, they are basically the same missile right now as well, right? They're not basically the same missile, they are different, but the differences are so small that it doesn't change the fact that it's basically the same. It feels like it is the same, right? So yeah, I was thinking that this aircraft would be the most OP thing ever. I thought it was, but after flying it out and just taking a look on how it is in the dogfight and in the BVR, yes, it will be more effective than the F-14A, but it also, the F-14A had a 11.7 BR. So at the end of the day, I really think that it won't change that much. If you can actually use the advantages of these aircraft over the A, right, then you will see a really big difference, like using the engines to get a proper solution for your missiles or something like that. Then you would actually see a much better reaction for your aircraft in a dogfight, in a BVR engagement, or anything like that. But beyond that, everything is very similar to it, and it's understandable why they are not adding any type of counters to the F-14B, because it kind of doesn't need it. We already have the counters in the game. The MiG-29 can already beat it in a BVR fight if the guy knows what he's doing. The Yak-41 can do even better than that, maybe. The F-16s, yes, in the BVR they will be way worse, but in a dogfight they have a chance. So at the end of the day, it's pretty much down to the pilot as always, The pilot needs to know. I've seen some footage and I know how people play, and I see that most of the mistakes are due to the pilot error. The same way as I do, right? I do a lot of errors. I'm not a F-14 pilot, for example, and I do a lot of bad decisions in the dogfight and stuff. You will see some here in this dogfight. But at the end of the day, it's pretty much that. It comes down to the pilot to play the game enough and play the aircraft that you're flying enough for you to actually exploit any, problems that the other aircraft has compared to yours. And that will make you win a dogfight, a BVR fight, any type of fight. And that's why I love Cold War aircraft, because they're complex and way more difficult to fly than a prop. A lot of people say, oh, dogfights are dead in fourth generation. Yes, they are a little bit less, used, but the dogfights are still there and they are complex, and people need to learn how to dogfight and to do BVR. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's down to the pilot. So yeah, but basically this is it. Let me know in the comments what you think about the F-14B in the BVR, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye guys, see you.